Now, Human Rights Watch has urged the UN Security Council to issue a resolution to refer Myanmar to the International Criminal Court over the Rohingya crisis. Prominent rights groups said the lack of resolution has left Myanmar convinced that it has literally gotten away with mass murder of the Rohingya. Also called for targeted sanctions on perpetrators and an arms embargo. This comes days before a Security Council delegation is due to arrive in Myanmar's conflict-scarred Rakhine state. Myanmar has come under intense pressure since the start of a harsh crackdown back in August that's forced some 700,000 Rohingya to flee to neighboring Bangladesh. Refugees have provided consistent testimonies of murder and rape by security forces and Buddhist mobs. Joining us out of London now is Imran, Shah, spokesperson for Muslim Public Affairs Committee UK. Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. I mean, why wasn't this, a lot of people are going to say, why wasn't this resolution tabled a lot sooner? There's been testimonies, there's been well-documented atrocities committed by the Burmese government against, you very well know, the Rohingya Muslims. Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, very much. That's a question that's being asked globally. What it comes down to, I mean, it's quite shocking the fact that it has to be a human rights organization that has to call for a resolution in the first place, and it's quite bizarre in the sense that you have every single nation on this earth agreeing the fact that there is genocide happening against a particular ethnic community and a religious community, the Rohingya, and yet there isn't any sort of political will to sort of deal with this. And I think, you know, part of it is a sense of priority, but also really, I mean, there's nothing really to be gained by nation states by dealing with this genocide, and we've seen that before in Rwanda and in Bosnia and so forth.
But I hate to ask this question, but I'm afraid that it might be relevant to a great extent. Had this persecuted and this targeted community been a state entity attacking a Jewish community or a Christian community, would the outcome have been the same?
No, it wasn't. Of course. I mean, like, we have to understand, obviously, the Jewish community are very organized, whether they are, you know, Zionist or not. And that's simply because they finally got the lesson that politics is a matter of life and death. And that's not the case when it comes, for example, the Muslim community anywhere in the world really that truly gets that. We're still learning from that lesson. And so, you know, the reason why the Bosnians are still not supported, the reason why Rohingya are struggling to get support now is because we as Muslims and generally as other ethnic communities still don't get that lesson, and that's something that we really need to understand. And, like, you know, the international law is there. The International Criminal Court is there. The apparatus, the UN Assembly resolution apparatus is there as well. And these are tools that can effectively put pressure on states like Myanmar, whether it's freezing of assets, whether it's blacklisting, whether it's sanctions or boycotts, that diplomatic pressure as well. We do have that apparatus there, and like, we really need to start prioritizing this and the use of this. Otherwise, you know, that apparatus will be used against the oppressed.
Right, and you know, the European Union just yesterday passed, you know, a resolution putting travel bans and asset freezes on a few officials in the Burmese government for the atrocities against the Rohingya. You're talking about raising complete villages, murders and rapes on an industrial level against these people, and then you're talking about travel bans and asset freezes. It almost sounds preposterous to even fathom that kind of resolution for that kind of atrocity.
Yeah, and definitely stuff needs to be done. It does, despite the level of, and almost the sort of lightness of the pressure that's being proposed is right preposterous. We've seen full-blown genocide, and we've seen that happening to other ethnic minorities inside Burma as well. And that, you know, is quite right in saying that the Burmese authorities feel that they've literally gotten away with genocide, and now they're starting to persecute, you know, other minorities as well, you know, Christian and Kashmir minorities as well. And the Kashmir ethnic minorities have actually appealed to the UN and the ICC for the same sort of things. But, like, I guess this is trying to essentially just get your foot in the door, get the ball rolling, and to have that easy sort of process in which you can gain leverage upon. And we've seen that with other sort of instances, like again the same classic examples where nation states have not been able to deal with this for whatever reasons, and NGOs have taken upon themselves to just try to get the ball rolling and to try and get the world actually taking action on this. So despite the fact that these are resolutions that I think that are quite light, I don't think this will be the end. I think finally now we're starting to see people escalating upon Myanmar in a way that is sufficient.
I hope you're right. Thank you for joining us there, Mr. Imran Shah, joining us out of London, spokesperson for Muslim Public Affairs Committee, UK.